one of the dirtiest dicks I ever had in my life. Was the first guy that made me go, ooh. And I loved his funky drawers, even after he was my cousin. Well, he was for my cousin before me. I didn't know it. And then he kept on for my cousin. I just didn't know. But well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and tip your favorite narrator via Cash App at $NAROB on YouTube. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue reading When Silence Screamed, The Girl Who Knew Too Much by Gloria Velez. Like I said, I don't think she knew too much. I think she did way too much before the age of, 17. I saw Laz for who he truly was, a man conflicted, struggling to balance his public presence with his private pain. I could sense his unhappiness with his marriage. Take a fucking drink of water on that. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Them motherfuckers is never happy. The day they on their honeymoon, they ain't happy. The bitches ain't never happy. He confided in me more than once about how trapped he felt, but there was nothing I could do to fix that for him. Girl, you know if he went public with you, do you know his ass would be in jail? Oh, I'm conflicted. I'm married and have children with my wife, but I'm in love with a girl that's 15. Oh, the complexities of it all. He confided in me more than once about how trapped he felt, but there was nothing I could do to fix that for him. I was young, and while I cared deeply for him, I knew I could not be the answer to his problem. As our relationship evolved, so did my understanding of the world around me. Laz was one of the first to show me how brutal the industry could be. He would warn me about people I did not yet have the experience to read, telling me which men to avoid, who had bad intentions, like a pimp would do his bottom bitch. He had a way of seeing through people, and he used that insight to shield me from some of the worst that the industry had to offer. But love, no matter how intense, does not always lead to happy endings. It was a lesson I would come to learn repeatedly. Even though we shared something beautiful, I knew it could not last forever. There were too many things pulling us in different directions. His career, his marriage, my own ambitions, and yes, I held on for as long as I could, cherishing the moments we had even when I knew they were slipping away. That is what made our time together so bittersweet. I loved Laz, but I knew he could not be mine, not in the way I wanted. He was always a step ahead, always moving forward, and I had to learn to keep pace or risk being left behind. In the end, I chose to hold on to the memories, the small moments where everything felt right, knowing that even if it was not perfect, it was real. Even after we parted ways, there were reminders of what we had. Our relationship was never meant to be conventional, but it was ours. And for a time, it was everything. Ooh, beautiful, young love. Why you wanna go away now? But 15 years old and 21 or 22 with a married man. I can see if he was dumb, still in the hood doing dumb shit, but he married. He got a whole family. A whole fucking family, girl. Child, you can't do nothing for him but lay down with him. And I know I'm not just talking to the young Gloria Velez, I'm talking to the young me. Thank you for the love we shared, for the moments when you genuinely cared, your touch, your kiss, your warm embrace, a gentle strife in a fleeting space. I will never forget those tender nights when your arms held me, making things right. That's what she wrote to love. Let me shut the fuck up. Because one of the dirtiest dicks I ever had in my life was the first guy that made me go, ooh. And I loved his funky drawers, even after he was my cousin. Well, he was for my cousin before me. I didn't know it. And then he kept on for my cousin. I just didn't know. But this chapter is one of the most devastating moments in my life. A point of indescribable pain that I feared would break me. But it is a story that needs to be told, not just for me, but for every person who had faced the horror of sexual assault. So this is what I'm going to say. Gloria Velez's book is kind of putting me in the mind frame of DMX's book, where you be like, God damn, nigga. Did you have any good times in life? Is everything about your mammy? You that angry with your mammy? Now, Gloria Velez, it's like she shows us glimmers of happiness. But a lot of it is her talking about her pain. A lot of people say, Nay, you should write a book. And when you're focusing on your life, you want to think about the traumatic experiences, or you want to write about the traumatic experiences so people can learn from your experiences and maybe put your experience in front of the experience that could possibly happen to them, so then that way they don't get caught up. You have to also speak about what made you a beautiful person, a happy person. You know, don't nobody want to just hear about bad things. You know, like me, I've had some pretty bad experiences, baby. And it's like I remember those vividly, but I have to also remember the good times, because my life was not all bad. Trust me, I've had some beautiful times. The problem is that I have to struggle to remember some of those beautiful times, because it's like I only remember, I promise you, like my life from like maybe Sursum Quarters up to maybe Morton Street. That's all I really remember. And it's like little sparks of information. The only ones that glare are the traumatic experiences. Then I move forward like 20 years. I'm telling you, I don't know why, but 20 years of my life, I can't remember. Maybe 30. I don't know why I can't remember it, you know. But you got to try to remember what made your life happy. If not, you want to die miserable. You want to die unhappy. When I think back on it, bitch, I had a beautiful life. I had some good times, baby. In college, I had some really, really good times. Now, you know, I was a little, you know, free. In college, I had some good times. In the Go-Go's, good times. And I got to remember those times, the times that I felt good. When I was a probation officer, traveling, I had some good times with my mama, good times. You have to focus on those. And I feel like Gloria Velez, is focusing too much on traumatics, the trauma of her life. Girl, let's talk about something fun. Girl, tell me something fun. Shit, you is overwhelming me with the bug. The pressure to drink was suffocating. The girls urged on, and I felt cornered into compliance. I remember fragments of a night, faces hovering over me, the inability to move, the terrifying sense of being trapped in my own body. When I finally awake, I was somewhere else, my body trembling, a hollow weakness gnawing at me from within. I just wanted to go home to escape the nightmare that was now my reality, child. I said nothing to anyone. I buried it deep, hoping to erase the memory, to pretend it never happened. But the faces, they returned to my life, testing the waters, gauging my silence. I acted as if nothing had occurred to preserve my sanity, or maybe because I could not bear to face the truth. I, the tough glow, had been violated. How could I have let this happen? Girl, you in an industry full of predators. That's how it happened, girl. A teenager clinging to the words of people who seemed larger than life, who I thought could do no wrong. As the news of what happened to me spread, other women came forward, confessing they too had been assaulted by this man, and others in the industry. Okay, pause. So, those of you that are from uptown, y'all know this crazy nigga. Because he been taking vagina probably since he was 12. Okay? Something was wrong with that person. And I blame his parents for not getting in front of it. You know, I know someone else who, was a grapist also. But it was something broken inside of them that did not help them to understand no means no. The immaturity in you doesn't help you to understand no, and especially if you don't have a father in place to help you to understand no, then there's no discipline. Some people don't have discipline. And I'm going to tell you, it so happened that this particular guy that got me, I'm going to say it because he got a lot of girls in the area. This little boy was so fucking vicious, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. He had caught the heebie-jeebies, and he started giving the heebie-jeebies to the women in the area. And then once the women in the area said, oh no, don't deal with him because he got the heebie-jeebies, he went up to New York and started giving the heebie-jeebies to the girls up there. He was vicious. He was brutal. I'm going to tell you, first degree rapist. Okay. But anyway, what had happened with me, I had confided in a friend about what happened. And she said to me, Nene, listen, you are not alone. This other girl, she told her brothers, and now they looking for him. So if the dude wouldn't eventually had went to jail for graping, he would have died. So in a way, he had to go up to New York to escape what he was doing because he graped the wrong girl, right? I had a brother and a cousin, but I didn't like to involve them in situations, all right? Man, that day that I came home, my mother knew exactly. She was like, Nene, are you okay? I was like, yeah, Ma. So it was a traumatic situation, but I wasn't the type to say something was wrong. And I confided in my Judy, and she said, Nene, he got to be stopped. He has to be stopped because you're not the only one. I believe you, Nene. So, and the 80s was a time where men felt so entitled to take women, boys, because he was a boy. He was probably like 4 years younger than me, or 2 or 3 years younger than me. It was gross. It was a setup, and it was gross. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say. The person used someone I trusted to make me feel comfortable, and it went left horribly. Okay? Or someone I thought I could trust, and it went left. And the news of what happened to me spread. Other women came forward confessing they too had been assaulted by this man and others in the industry. They had kept silent just like me. But then there were those who blamed me for what happened, who think some twisted pleasure in seeing that my life was not perfect. I never claimed it was. You are just envious because I never let those demons destroy me. I don't know about that, but there are women who believe that if you put yourself in a situation to be raped, you can't cry about it. Their words do not touch me anymore. They are just words, opinions with no weight. I write this for anyone who has been assaulted. It is not your fault. Please forgive yourself. Remember, but do not let it consume you. It is okay to cry from time to time. Let those tears be your strength, your armor. What happened to you does not define you. You define you. Well, that's the best thing the bitch said since she been here. At home, I was still hanging around with street guys and different gang members, searching for my place in the chaos. My dad was hardly ever around during this time in my life, but I remember one night so vividly. I threw a party in our backyard, and gangs from all over showed up.